All right, what's up? Brent here. I'm the jazz musician behind LearnJazzStandards.com, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over full-on chords analysis of the jazz standard Autumn Leaves. Now, it can be super important when we're learning jazz standards to really analyze things by Roman numerals, okay? And not only analyzing them by Roman numerals, associating them with the diatonic series in the parent key center, it can be helpful to see what is actually going on here. Are we going to the relative major during this one section? Are we switching into a different key? How do these chords relate to the key center? And by analyzing all this stuff, it can help us map out these songs better so that ultimately we can play them better, we can improvise over them better. So I'm going to be going over Autumn Leaves today. I'm going to go right behind my computer, show you what I'm talking about. We're going to dig in deep. So check this out.
All right, here we are behind the computer, and let's take a look at my Autumn Leaves chords analysis here. And now keep in mind that this is in concert key, so it's in concert G minor, which is a common key that Autumn Leaves is played in. It's also commonly played in E minor, but we're going to be taking a look at it in G minor because I think it's more commonly played in this one. So you got to keep in mind that if you're a B-flat instrument, like a tenor sax player, that you'd be transposing this a whole step up. So you'd be playing in A minor rather than G minor. And if you're an E-flat instrument, like an alto sax player, you would want to be playing this in E minor. That would be the transposition. So be sure that you know your transpositions. If you're a horn player or a non-C instrument player, you're going to want to know how to do this. But regardless, no matter what instrument you play, this will help you learn the chords and analyze the harmony. But before we get started digging into the harmony, let's just listen to some basic piano voicings over top this form so we can relate that sound of the harmony to what we're seeing on the page. Okay, so the two big lessons to take out of Autumn Leaves is number one, 2-5-1 chord progressions. Okay, 2-5-1 chord progressions, the most important progression in jazz and really a lot of pop music too. And then the second thing is relative major and relative minor keys. Because essentially what we have here is 2-5-1 chord progressions in the relative major and the parent minor key of Autumn Leaves. And like I said at the beginning, this is in concert G minor. So let's take a look at the beginning of it. I have my guitar out too, just so that I can play through some of this stuff. So let's take a look at the first 3 or 4 bars here. Now I color-coded everything in 2 different colors. I'll talk about the last page. I colored some green when we get there. But in general, we have blue for relative major and red for the parent minor. Okay, that's how I've color-coded this song just to help us get a visual of this thing. So the first 3 bars is a 2-5-1 in the key of B-flat major. C minor 7, F7, B-flat major 7. Okay, just stick right there at that 2-5-1. Now it's important that you understand the diatonic series of 7th chords and how they all harmonize with each other. For example, I could harmonize a B-flat major scale with 7th chords. It would sound like this. B flat major 7, C minor 7, D minor 7, E flat major 7, F7, G minor 7, A half diminished, or A minor 7 flat 5, then we're back at B flat major 7. So that's important for understanding the Roman numerals because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay, and that's where we get the 2-5-1 from. We get C minor 7 is the 2 chord in B flat major. F7 is the 5 chord, and B flat major 7 is the 1 chord. So that's really important to understand. That's a very basic understanding of harmony. So as you can see right here, 2, 5, 1 of relative major. Now that's interesting, right? Because this is really in the key of G minor. We're starting in the relative major. So now what do we have here in bar 5? E flat major is the 4 of the relative major, right? The 4 chord B flat major 7 is E flat major 7. So okay, now here we go. Another 2, 5, 1 chord progression, but now we're going into the parent minor. A minor 7 flat 5, D7, G minor 7. So A minor 7 flat 5, that's the 2 chord in a minor key. D7, a lot of times will be like a D7 flat 9, and then a G minor 7. Now, here in bar 9, this G7 here, that's simply acting as a turnaround back to the C minor 7. Because if you think about it, what is a G7 in relationship to a C minor 7? Okay, what is it? I have it written right here. 6 of the relative major. Okay, so it's a dominant 6 of the relative major. So we have a G7, which is essentially acting as a 5 of 2. 5 of 2. C minor 7 is the 2 of B flat major. So G7 leads into C minor 7, or you can think of it as the 6 of the relative major. All right? So that's just a turnaround chord going back up to the top to the repeat. So again, back to the repeat. 2, 5, 1, relative major. 4 of the relative major. Okay, now minor 2, 5. This is the 2 chord, E minor 7 flat 5. We're in the second ending now. D7, and then G minor 7. Okay, here we go into what essentially is the B section here. Just another 2, 5 into G minor 7. So really simple, right? Now, sometimes still people will add the G7 there again to turn around back into this C minor 7 in bar 17. You can do that if you want to, but you don't have to. Okay, so then we have another 2, 5 into the relative major to B flat major, concert B flat major, C minor 7, F7, B flat major 7. Generally, the E flat major 7 isn't played again, but you know, you could add it if you wanted to. Jazz musicians constantly are adding stuff. Okay, let's take a look at the last 8 bars here. Okay, back to that A minor 7. We're back into the parent minor key. Okay, then D7, that's the 5 chord. Okay, now here I've color-coded this section green just because it's kind of a unique, it's really the only unique part of the song, okay? So the G minor 7 is the 1 chord here, right? 2, 5, 1. But then what we're doing is a cycle of fourths that's eventually going to lead us back to that minor 2, 5, 1. So we land on the 1 chord, the G minor 7, and we go to the C7. Now keep in mind, those are just the distance of a fourth away from each other. C minor 7, or G minor 7, C7, right? That's really like a minor 1 to a 4-7, or you could just think of that as a 2-5, like G minor 7, C7, that's like a 2-5 to F major 7, but instead we go to F minor 7 right here, B flat 7, all of it cycling in fourths. And then we go half step down from that B flat 7 with the bass note to A minor 7 flat 5 again. So now we're going to end the song with the minor 2, 5, 1. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. This entire song is pretty straightforward. The most important thing is to understand that relative major and the relative minor. That G minor 7's relative major is B flat 7. Let's go back to the first page here. And we're starting here on this relative major and then moving into the minor. So that's why Autumn Leaves, I always love teaching this to my students, not only because it's a classic and everybody has to know this one, but because it's so simple to understand and it has such core elements of jazz music and jazz harmony. If you know this song, you can really get to know so many others. You have the relative major, again, in blue, the minor in red, and those 2-5-1s in each one of those keys. And if you got that, if you have the 2-5-1s in minor keys and 2-5-1s in major keys, you're golden, because half of jazz harmony is made out of them. Okay, so this is the chords analysis of Autumn Leaves. Pretty straightforward, simple song, but I think by looking at it and taking a glance at this stuff, it can really help us understand it in general and help us learn more songs just like this.
All right, I hope you found that helpful. Now, at the end of the day, there's a lot of different ways to look at different jazz standards and analyze them. You know, maybe you have a different way that you like to think of the chords or relate certain sections to each other. So if you do, if you have other alternative ideas, leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let the whole community know your thoughts, and share with everybody the way that you look at these jazz standards. Now, something I do want to say is that recently we came out with a brand new ebook and a companion course. So if you like this kind of stuff a lot, you're going to want to check out our ebook and our companion course, the Jazz Standards Playbook. Okay, you can find that at thejazzstandardsplaybook.com if you really want to dig deep into these things and go over 10 really important jazz standards studies that you can really dive into and learn really about all the different jazz standards and how they work and they operate by going through these. So check that out at thejazzstandardsplaybook.com. Remember, if you like this video, subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, make sure you join our jazz community at learnjazzstandards.com/join. I'm Brent, I'm signing off, and I'll see you in the next video.